Good day, everybody. Welcome to the Bible in a Year 2021. We are currently on day 322, and we're reading through Acts chapters 7 and 8. And in this chapter, we're seeing where the great persecution takes place. It's a scattering of the church because they were told to go out, they didn't go out. So the Lord has a way of arranging those things because he really needed the church to go out, to spread. But here Stephen is a catalyst for this, and we have to stop and consider Stephen for a moment. He was one of the 7 chosen to wait on the tables. A problem had arisen where the widows, the church was feeling that there's some prejudice there, that not all the widows were getting the same thing. And the apostles was like, guys, like, we don't have time to deal with this. We need to be in prayer and in the word. And so they told the assembly, like, you pick 7 who are going to take care of this. And Stephen was one of the 7, and what a quality he was. There are those who say that only the original 12 were anointed for the signs and wonders and healings, miracles, that sort of thing. And here we see Stephen so filled with the Holy Spirit that the great miracles were being done through him. And he was highly thought of. And so he ends up getting arrested, and he stands before the Sanhedrin, and he preaches to them. But some have misunderstood it, and he's not standing there in some kind of arrogance against the Sanhedrin. He stood there in righteousness, and what he was doing, what he was involved with, was the right thing. That was the Father's heart. He was helping people to become whole in their body, whole physically, whole mentally, whole spiritually, connected to the Father in the way that the Father wanted people to be connected. So his was a righteous ministry. These are righteous acts that he was doing, and he was arrested because of these things. So he stood there. He knew he stood there in righteousness. He didn't stand there because he had done something wrong. It was because he had done it right, and it's exactly what Jesus said would happen. So he ends up being the first known martyr from this. And some people look at that and they think they have an excuse to be arrogant, but he didn't show any arrogance at all. He just spoke the truth, and at the end of it, he just turned around and he said, like, this is the one that you guys crucified. It was you who did this. What you did was wrong. He's just speaking, well, they say today, truth to power, right? But he was telling them, this is the situation. This is where we are. This is where your actions have brought us. And as he's being killed, even then, we see the quality of the man, because that he didn't call down curses on them whatsoever. He followed Jesus' example right to the very end. And just as Jesus prayed forgiveness for those who were nailing him to the cross, Stephen prayed forgiveness for those who were stoning him. And he was given that vision of Jesus at the right hand of the Father. And that was for his encouragement in that moment. And so we really have to examine things. There's a difference between speaking truth for the benefit of the people and dealing with people in arrogance. And arrogance is usually self-centered. When we're speaking truth to people, it's for their sake, not for ours. It's not to prove anything about myself. It's not to prove that I'm right. It's not to protect my rights, defend my rights. It has nothing to do with that. The righteousness that Stephen was involved with was for the sake of the Sanhedrin, for their sake. He didn't even try to defend himself. He was more interested in them, for them to accept the truth, to accept where what was going on. And if we can stand before people and be there for their sake and not our sake, not trying to gain a reputation for ourselves, not trying to defend ourselves, but for lifting up Jesus to them for their sake, then we're operating in righteousness. But when it's for us and we're in the center of it, um, yeah, not so much. Okay, well, there you go. That's something there for you for Stephen. And you guys have an excellent day and be blessed and serve him with humility because that's what he desires. God bless.